Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about Yatharth Hospital and Trauma Care Limited. So it's a recent company that has come out with an IPO. It's been 3 quarters, right? So first, let us understand. Of course, we're going to be doing the Q2FY24 analysis, like how the result has been, and where does the company stand right now, right? The good, bad, and the ugly, everything. So first, let us talk about the business model. Yatharth Hospital and Trauma Care, as the name itself suggests, it is a hospital, right? What is the speciality here is it's a regional hospital, unlike Apollo and Narayan Hrudayalaya, right? Which is a bit spread out, in terms of geography. Whereas Yatharth Hospital and Trauma Care hails from Delhi, especially the Noida and Noida region. And right now they're in the expansion mode where they're trying to like expand as much as they can, in the outer, in outside of Delhi, right? So there are 4 hospitals. One is the yeah, one second. One is the Noida Hospital, which is like Noida Extension. One is Greater Noida, and Noida Extension, and Greater Noida. So these are the 3 main hospitals that they have. And recently, in 2022, they acquired a hospital at Jhansi Orcha, right? This was an inorganic expansion, which means it was already a hospital. It was a running hospital. They just acquired it, changed the name, changed the facilities and everything. Appointed their doctors. So there are four hospitals. If I have to give you the breakdown in terms of revenue, if you look at the Greater Noida Hospital that is there, it contributes around 36% of the revenue. Noida Extension जो है, that contributes around 30% of the revenue, and Noida में जो hospital है, which is the first hospital, that is around 29% of the revenue, and Jhansi Orcha का hospital है, hardly 5% of the revenue comes from that. Okay, so that is the entire gist of like what Yatharth has been doing. Another thing about Yatharth is like, unlike other hospitals that cater to general medicine, they cater a lot towards super specialty. And over the years, you have seen the super specialty mix increase, right? So right now they have super specialties contributing around 69 to 70%, and the rest 30% is coming from general medicine. Earlier it used to be ulta. So as your super specialty ka portion for your revenue increases, right, more will be a margin, your ARPOB will increase, right? It is good for a hospital. Super specialties are more like value driven, so they will anyways make more money compared to your general hospital. And of course, right, in your general hospital, if you're catering to general medicine, what happens is a lot of competition over there, so it is just not fruitful, right? So yes, these people are into more towards super specialty, and going forward also you will see the super specialty. Right now it is 69 to 70%. You will see this portion increasing more and more as we move forward in time. Okay. So now let us understand the Q2 FY24 result. Like yes, aata, right? As usual, the company has kept up its earnings momentum. Like jab IPO mein aaya tha, it was already at a 40% growth engine, which is why it was a very attractive. And jab IPO mein bhi aaya tha, the valuation was also very, like, it left a lot for its shareholders, right? So in that way, it has been great, right? So if you were getting a 40% growth engine, I think at hardly 35p. I'm talking about initially back then when it just came into the IPO. So right now also, like, the management has kept its word, and the earnings momentum continues to be very strong, right? If you see on a year-on-year basis, the revenue has been up 36% on a year-on-year basis, and on a quarter-on-quarter basis, it is up 13%. Similarly, PAT has been up 71%. So there's a good amount of operating leverage. Of course, this comes because they have started this new section called oncology and organ transplant. So there again, super specialty jitna hoga, your profit will grow at a faster rate than that compared to the revenue. Okay? So PAT is up 71% and on a year-on-year basis, and 15.5% QOQ basis. Okay? इसके वजह से of course आपका PAT margin भी increase हुआ है. You will see PAT margin जो 12.5% था last year, अभी 15% हो चुका है. ठीक है? So all in all, great, nothing to complain in terms of income statement. अगर आप result एक glance में देखोगे, nothing to compare. If I have to look at your margins also, margins are also quite stable at around 26.2%. Okay. Now let us talk about your hospital KPIs. Now hospital KPIs, if I have to tell, you have to look at occupancy, which is like a volume growth in hospital. You have to look at ARPOB, which is like a value growth in hospital. Like देखो हर business एक ही तरह होता है. ठीक है. Maybe the business model is of course different, inherently different, but ultimately सबका अगर आप देखते हो checklist तो एक एक ही होता है, जस्ट नाम अलग अलग होते हैं, ठीक है. सो वॉल्यूम ग्रोथ जो था वो ऑक्यूपेंसी है, दैट इज व्हाट इट इज. अगर आप ऑक्यूपेंसी देखते हो, राइट, ऑक्यूपेंसी इज एट 57%. दिस हैज आल्सो टेकन अ ह्यूज जंप बिकॉज ऑक्यूपेंसी लास्ट क्वार्टर में जो था, विच इज Q1 FY24 में था 50%, 50%, और इससे पहले लास्ट ईयर में था 45%. जो 45 से 57% का इंक्रीज हुआ है ऑन ए ईयर ऑन ईयर बेसिस, ठीक है. अगर आप ARPO भी देखोगे, even that has increased around 6% on a year-on-year basis, right? ALOS is also stable at 4.2 days, 4.9 है, and it was 4.2, so it is okay because जितना आपको super specialty होगा, like थोड़ा ALOS इधर-इधर हो सकता है, so ALOS at 4 days, it's absolutely great, ठीक है. अगर आप देखते हो उनका inpatient volume है, that also has seen an increase of 37%. If you are a hospital, you would want your inpatient volume to increase on a year-on-year basis. Why? Because जो भी inpatient volume आता है, जो भी मतलब जो patient एडमिट होता है, राइट, इफ अ पेशेंट गेट्स एडमिटेड, ऑफ कोर्स आप उनको ज्यादा ट्रीटमेंट पे चार्ज कर सकते हो, बेड का कॉस्ट आता है एक्सेट्रा, वर्सेस लेट्स से हु इज कमिंग ओनली फॉर अ कंसल्टेशन, राइट, वहां पे आपको इतना यू विल नॉट बी एबल टू मेक दैट मच मनी कंपेयर टू लेट्स से इन पेशेंट. सो ऑल इन ऑल, अगर आप हॉस्पिटल्स का KPIs देखते हो, वेदर इट इज ऑक्यूपेंसी, ARPOB, एंड इन टर्म्स ऑफ इन पेशेंट वॉल्यूम्स होता है, ALOS होते हैं, एवरीथिंग इज अगेन हिटिंग द मार्क, like you know that tick box, you know, green ऐसा है, right? And even in terms of super specialty also, you know, all the super specialty also has been growing really well, right? Every department has done well. In fact, उनका जो radiation और oncology treatment है, that has also started in Noida, which they told in last quarter, ठीक है. Everything what they have been told, right? Guidance, not they haven't given guidance, but जो भी बोला, they are holding up to that, you know, they're walking the talk. That is one thing, ठीक है. Now let us go and check the occupancy जो है एक इंडिविजुअल हॉस्पिटल लेवल में, ठीक है. मतलब क्या, लाइक उनका ग्रेटर नोएडा एक्सटेंशन और झांसी ऑर्चर में कितना ऑक्यूपेंसी है, ठीक है. अगर आप देखते हो, लाइक कंसोलिडेटेड में 57% है, पर इंडिविजुअल हॉस्पिटल में देखते हो, उसमें भी अगर आप देखते हो, ग्रेटर नोएडा में 73% है, नोएडा में 96% है, नोएडा एक्सटेंशन में 45% है, और झांसी ऑर्चर में 20% है, ठीक है. सो इन टर्म्स ऑफ ऑक्यूपेंसी ऑल्सो नथिंग टू कंप्लेन. ऑफ कोर्स these hospitals are a bit older, and having said that, but still occupancies are doing really great compared to, again, if I have to compare either to Q1 FY24 या उससे पहले भी, if I have to compare everything, because here अगर आप देखते हो, झांसी ऑर्चर हॉस्पिटल है, जो मैंने बोला, दे acquired it in 2022. It is a fairly small hospital and everything. Last year same time में उसका occupancy था 5%, और इस साल it is 20%. So you can see there also the hospital over the years it is gradually adding more and more to the revenue, right? So in terms of अगर आप देखते हो, ARPOB भी थोड़ा बड़ा है सब हॉस्पिटल में भी, because last time ARPOB था 26,000 odd, and this time it is 27,000. So of course a little bit increase, but having said that, it has rose by 6% on a consolidated basis. Occupancy भी ठीक ठाक है, no problem in terms of that, ठीक है. Now let us go and talk what has happened in terms of your con call, ठीक है, क्या हुआ है. Now you know that this company has come up recently, right? Like IPO में आया था. So जो भी IPO का money आया है, so first their main priority has been to get rid of debt, right? So usually they have taken a majority of the money to get rid of the debt, and the other little bit money that is there, they have put it in terms of Capex. Now Capex यहाँ पे दो तरह का हो रहा है. एक होते हैं अपना ही हॉस्पिटल में जो है, नोएडा का जो वो 3 हॉस्पिटल है ना, नोएडा एक्सटेंशन, ग्रेटर नोएडा, वहां पे एक्सपैंड करके थोड़ा सा बेड डाल के, you know, they're doing that one kind of a Capex. Now this you might ask, like, why are they doing so? Because the demand at the current hospital is only so much. Now think about this, right? It is better to expand also in a way, to expand in a current hospital, क्योंकि वहाँ पे already people know कि like ये hospital है, उनका वहाँ पे जो है trust बन चुका है. So there to reach that occupancy, they can reach that occupancy at a faster level. Let's say अगर आप नया hospital खरीद के, you know, वहां पे जा रही हूँ, वहां पे थोड़ा टाइम लगता है ऑक्यूपेंसी में, ऑक्यूपेंसी रीच करने में, ठीक है. सो हैविंग सेड दैट, उनका जो रेडिएशन एंड ऑन्कोलॉजी मशीन्स दैट आर देयर, दे हैव अराइव्ड एट नोएडा एक्सटेंशन एंड दे विल बी कमिशन इन 2024. इन टर्म्स ऑफ केपेक्स, लेट मी जस्ट कवर दिस, ठीक है. रोबोटिक्स जो है, रोबोटिक सर्जरी जो है, दैट आल्सो has been started. It will go into full-fledged, you know, in the coming quarters, probably in the next quarter, and you know other. So यहाँ पे भी जो उन्होंने बोला था रेडिएशन एंड ऑन्कोलॉजी वो लोग स्टार्ट करेंगे, नोएडा एक्सटेंशन में वो हो रहा है, रोबोटिक सर्जरी भी हो रहा है, ठीक है. Now let us talk about capex in general. One is like I told you, they're looking for two kind of capex. One उनका ही hospital में, दूसरा inorganic में मतलब क्या? They would probably go and acquire a new hospital. Now that is because if you are constructing a new hospital, you have to get a land, you have to put up the machines and XYZ work. But let's say if there is an already hospital built, all you have to do is like change name and make sure it is running more efficiently according to your standard, right? So that is one of the reasons they believe it is more efficient or lucrative for them. ठीक है. Now here the company expects capex में, the company is expecting, the hospital is expecting bed capacity जो है अभी का, I think they have around 1,300 beds. I could be here and there with the numbers, but whatever the bed capacity they have right now as of Q2FY24, they want to double it in the span of 3 to 4 years. That is one. ठीक है. So इसके लिए क्या कर रहे हैं? पहला जो नोएडा एक्सटेंशन में जो हॉस्पिटल है, right? There they have already reached optimum capacity utilization, or they are trying to do so by FY25. That is one thing. ठीक है. उस नोएडा एक्सटेंशन के पास ही they have acquired a land next to that. ठीक है. And yeah, sorry, not Noida extension. Next to the Noida extension only, they have bought the land, and they have already like started the whole bidding process. मतलब L1 construction का bidding हो रहा है वहाँ पे, and already they have declared the lowest bidder, and वहाँ पे construction start होगा. Then Noida, Greater Noida जो hospital है, वहाँ पे also they have acquired the land, and they want to increase the bed from 400. अभी का bed capacity वो Greater Noida में है 400. They want to take it up to 600 beds. ठीक है. And this is the same thing they told last quarter also कि ये जो hospital है वो जेवार airport के पास है. So by constructing and increasing the bed capacity here from 400 to 600, they can start that international medical tourism, right? उससे भी margin ज़्यादा होता है. So and of course they're also looking to acquire a hospital, jo bhi 150 to 250 beds, whatever. If a hospital is having around this size, they're looking to acquire it. Probably by end of this year wo acquisition hoga, and this could be either in Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, or same Delhi NCR region somewhere. So 3 तरह का capex हो रहे हैं. एक Noida extension में जहाँ पे already bidder को contract दिया गया है, L1 bidder, और Greater Noida में जहाँ पे वो लोग land खरीदे हैं, yet construction is yet to happen, where they increase from 400 to 600. And the other one is abhi jo they are looking forward to again do an acquisition. So almost this capex will cost around 800 crores. So this is what they are trying to do. Basically, they're trying to double the beds in 3 to 4 years. Okay. So that is in all in terms of capex. Okay. Now let me just go and see. अगर आप उनका payer mix देखते हो, ठीक है, payer mix का अगर आप देखते हो, like 37% comes from government, ठीक है, and 36% comes from self insurance, and जो 20 the rest portion whatever I think 27% is coming from insurance people, ठीक है. Now there is a reason, like this is the how do I tell you, the highest to any hospital. अगर आप देखते हो Fortis का भी, it is hardly any, like I think in single digit, right? If you see any other hospital, nobody is having this much portion of a revenue coming from government Capex. Now this is also a bit of worrisome for an investor, because usually like यहाँ पे payment पे थोड़ा दिक्कत हो सकता है, payment will get delayed, could be, right? And as a result आपका cash flows में थोड़ा problem आ सकता है, working capital will increase. And the other thing is आप जब self payer में if you are getting more money from self payer, आपका ARPO भी usually high होता है, because there you can readily take a price hike. Whereas with insurance थोड़ा सा like 10 to 15% less compared to your self payer mix, और government में insurance से भी 10 to 15% कम होता है. So as a result what happens कि like जितना आपका government से ज़्यादा mix आ रहा है, payer mix आ रहा है, उतना आपका ARPOB में थोड़ा दिक्कत पड़ सकते हैं. So everybody were at, like I think this is one of the questions that I had, like why is this people, like is there like any like how do I tell, like is there a sanction from the government that this hospital has to like cater so much to the government patients or things. So the management, and I asked this question to the management, and the management told me like it is not that government has put a sanction on them ki, like you have to cater or you have to reserve a certain portion of bed for people who are coming from the government schemes. And that is not the case, because these people have built their own hospital with their own money by buying land at their own merit and everything. So this is something that they are doing by themselves only, like and one of the reason is उनका अगर जो hospital देखते हो, सारा hospital तो दिल्ली में है, तीन hospital, नोएडा हो, Greater Noida, Noida Extension and Noida Hospital, ठीक है. यहाँ पे a lot of people who are staying around the vicinity of the hospital are either from the army, like bureaucrats, diplomats and etc etc, you know, all this all these people who used to work for the government or are working for the government. Now as a result, of course, right, everybody prefers a private hospital any day compared to a government hospital. So because the area and the vicinity they stay are more of these kind of people, that is why the government payer mix is higher here, not because of any. And the hospital doesn't have any problem as long as it is not affecting their profitability. Until now it has not been affecting their profitability, and you have seen that in terms of number also. In fact, it is, you know, driving their volumes up, so that is why they do not have problem, right? क्योंकि अगर आप देखते हो, the entire government का business जो है, it is divided into three categories: CGHS, ECHS, and ESI. आप उनका like you could see the full form or the abbreviations on the internet. But जो ECHS जो है, it is for army retired people, ठीक है? So the Greater Noida Hospital जो है उनका, उसका that is surrounded with this all these army people. So that is why you're seeing a lot of influx from the government payer mix. और जो है is Noida में ज़्यादा bureaucratic people होते हैं, ठीक है? ये CBI etc people, and these people have the CGHS card. As a result, you're seeing this government payer mix is higher for Yatharth compared to any other hospital. Okay, so that is another thing. Like I told you, ARPO. That is why you also see Yatharth, although has a lot of super specialty, 70% आता है super specialty से. In spite of that, उनका ARPO भी जो है, it is very less compared to, let's say, the likes of Max and Fortis, because I think Max का ARPO is around what, 40 to 50 around there, and these people का ARPO is hardly around 27. One of the reason is this, because like I told you, self payer में you can take a ready price hike on a year-on-year basis. Insurance में यहाँ पे 10 to 15% कम होता है compared to self payer, and government में इससे भी 10 to 15% कम price hike होता है, ठीक है? So as a result, that is why. Now, of course, having said that, going forward, if they do, they will cater more towards the insurance and the self payer mix. Even they understand that is what the management is also trying and targeting to, especially if they are opening hospitals outside of this whole Delhi NCR region, ठीक है? So that is that on the payer mix. The other thing I would like to highlight is in terms of if you look at the cash flows में भी उतना problems नहीं है. If you see, I mean, there is absolutely no problems in cash flows. You'll see that the cash flows are positive only. Where is that? Oh, 1 second, let me just find it. Yeah, the cash flows are also positive, nothing to complain over there. The only thing you will see is the COGS जो है, it has increased substantially. Now, the reason is because, like I told you, they recently started this oncology treatment, right? So there, of course, the medicines that are used over there and the chemotherapy and that all the medicines that they have to stock up the medicines first of all. So as a result, these treatments require this high-end drugs, right? So going forward, COGS will also increase as super specialty treatment increases. So it is not a cause for concern. It is just the nature of the hospital. Okay? Then the another thing in cash flows that are there is the receivable has increased drastically. Okay? A lot, if you see. Now, because the like I told you, इनका 37% आता है government से, right? So as a result, what has happened, since the government का क्या बोलते हैं, इनका mode of payment. Earlier, the mode of payment was from UPI. Now it has shifted to NHS. So as a result, because of this, you know, the entire process is becoming all right, or you know, it is changing. Because of that, the receivables has become high. They haven't received the money from the government. But this is a very one-off quarter kind of thing. It is not something that, you know, will persist over the years, because if you see the last 3 years, agar ab DRHP पे जाके देखो receivables, it has not increased drastically. It is almost on the same level. But only this quarter, and management told, you know, it is not a cause of concern. It will be resolved in the coming quarters. Nothing to worry. And अगर आप देखते हो, जो कोई भी जो government payer mix zyada hote hai, they also are having the same problem. It is not that Yatharth is something, you know, like unique. So that is that about Yatharth. Nothing, all is good here, on track in terms of Q2FY24 ka result. As usual, the management hasn't given any forward guidance, right, regarding the H2, how the H2 will be or the FY25 will be. But they have told, you know, you can see that the top line would increase on a QOQ basis also. So that is what they were telling. And usually they tell कि, like, you know, जो भी हम perform करते आ रहे हैं, वही performance continue होता रहेगा. And margins जो है अभी जो है 26%, उससे भी ज्यादा हो सकता है, because they are moving more and more towards super speciality, ठीक है? And they have given the target के like occupancy will be around 60%. Oh, another thing I forgot to highlight is जो occupancy इस quarter में था, it is 57%, right? Last time same quarter it was 45%. One of the main reasons occupancy to be this high is because Delhi NCR में a lot of people got dengue and they were admitted in hospital. So as a result, you know, the occupancy rose so high. So that is that. Now let's come to the two big issues that are there with this. Like since the time the IPO has come, I think, although it has a very great earnings momentum, right? Yatharth has really great earnings momentum, but it has been in how do I tell you, in a bit of controversy. It has been a bit controversial because of two things. One is Q2 के पहले उनके ऊपर एक इनकम टैक्स का रेड हुआ था, ठीक है. Now, of course, the management had cleared about that in Q2 के, like income tax rate हुआ था, yes, correct. But having said that, the people, the income tax people didn't find anything, right? Absolutely nothing they found it, and it is absolutely nothing they found it, and they've got a no money or no money laundering has happened, and whatever further investigations is that they will cooperate with that. Okay, that is one thing. So income tax ka thing has been cleared over there, absolutely no problem. The second thing that has happened is एक legal issue आया है. Like I told you, there are 4 hospitals, right? I told you they acquired a hospital in 2022, वो झांसी orchha का hospital. वहाँ पे क्या हुआ है? The land in which the hospital has been built is under legal dispute right now. ये क्या हुआ था? The land which was there, it earlier belonged to the farmers, okay? Like some like a lot of individuals, I think 20 to 25 individuals it belonged to, because it's a huge land. And jo earlier owner tha, like before the hospital was sold to Yatharth, the earlier owner was there. This owner collected the lands from different people, the 25 people, and they got a permission also from the government ki, like Madhya Pradesh government ki, like ye agriculture land hai, isko aap convert karke hospital build kar sakte ho, and there was absolutely no problem. And of course that the previous owner ran the hospital, everything was fine, and then this hospital was transferred to Yatharth. Okay, even at that time there was no problem कि like land का कोई भी issue नहीं था. After Yatharth took the hospital, what had happened? जो NHAI है, the national highway, they wanted some land, for expanding of road or construction of road, and these people gave that land also, like I think some 0.6 acres. I'm not sure about the exact land. Those people had given the land to them. From their name, they transferred the ownership to NHAI, and they got compensated also, right? So again, no problem here. And all of a sudden now there has been a dispute, like this land is not legal, the land in which the hospital has not been legal. So of course these claims are not right. The claims are very absurd, right? Because if that were the case, why would a government body like NHAI ask them, like give us the land and we will pay you, right? I mean, they could have come at that time only and told like bhai ye to land aapne illegally built kiya, then I can take the pura land and I can construct whatever I want. And that has not been the case. So the hospital is fighting the case right now, telling this whatever the claim that you're making on the land is absolutely absurd, and it doesn't stand a chance in the court, right? That is what, of course, it is in the middle of controversy, and you all know because of that the market had overreacted, and following that the promoter of the company that is there, I think Yatharth Tyagi, he bought around 5% of shares from the open market, right? He bought around 5% of the shares, 5 to 6% of the shares from open market in the span of 2 days. Now, talking about this, how will it impact, right? First of all, ye Jhansi ka hospital that is there, it is hardly contributing 5% to the revenue. That is number one, okay? Okay, so even if let's say, and right now they how do I tell you, the government hasn't put a sanction ki like यहाँ पे आप hospital बंद करो और यहाँ पे कोई भी operation नहीं चल रहा. That is not there. सिर्फ एक legal dispute हो रहा है, but the hospital is still running as it was before the dispute, as it was. So now let's say the worst case scenario. The worst case scenario क्या है, that the government puts a ban कि like hospital आप नहीं run कर सकते हो. Then anyways it was contributing 5% to the revenue. So probably 36% से growth engine से 30% का growth engine में आएगा, because that 5% of the revenue is gone. Tush, absolutely not there. Okay. So that is one of the worst possible case scenario. The other thing that can happen is now, because the Jhansi ka hospital was important for them in the sense, additional growth यहाँ से आएगा, right? Because अभी भी ये hospital 20% के occupancy में चल रहा है. Going forward, it has to be 40%, 60%. So जितना occupancy बढ़ेगा, the more it is going to add on to your top line. Now, what can happen here is this Jhansi hospital, like I told you, like most of their hospitals are built around the vicinity of how do I put this? The vicinity of government officials and government workers. ये Jhansi का hospital जो है, it is built around the railway people. Okay? So a lot of people in that vicinity area are railway workers. So these people were supposed to get an empanelment from railway people. कि like जो भी अगर railways में है, उनका card है, they can go, and go to Yatharth and get admitted there and get some concession for their treatment. ठीक है. Probably this because of this dispute. I'm telling you, probably this can come into hold. There could be a possibility, right? जो insurance का, again insurance का भी empanelment होने वाला था. Both of this empanelment, right, had to be done by this year. Probably both of this, you know, they might back off because of this issue that is there. And if this happens, the further occupancy जो है, that could be affected. So that additional incremental growth जो आने वाला था, that could be stopped because of this. So there is a possibility, you know, कि like जो ये 36% का pace of growth था, it could be there. It could be there because of this impact, or it couldn't be there also for this impact. It could go either ways, and it is something that you have to wait and watch until Q3 and see how it goes, right? Because in one side, it is hardly contributing 5% of the revenue. So probably if the other 3 hospitals in Noida that is there, they can come and make up for it. Or on the other hand, you know, things can go as it is hunky-dory, or, you know, like it can, the Jhansi can completely, you know, like falter their pace of growth. So all in all, that these are the 3 possible scenarios. Having said that, the Q2FY24 has been great. Only issue remains about this legal dispute about the hospital. Other than that, absolutely great. Nothing to complain. All in all, a great set of numbers. We have to track and see how things go in Q3. Will the earnings momentum continue for Yatharth at 36% or somewhere at a 40% growth engine, or it will falter and, you know, come back to normal. So that is something. Having said that, I hope you'll have a nice day and take care. Bye bye.